The sun rose over the rugged landscape, casting a golden hue across the sprawling ranch that belonged to Clara, a widow trying to maintain her late husband's legacy. The ranch, with its weathered barn and fields dotted with wildflowers, was both a sanctuary and a reminder of the life she once shared. Clara had dedicated her days to tending to the animals and crops, but the weight of loneliness hung heavy in the air. Her husband, Tom, had been a sturdy man with a kind heart. He had always dreamed of expanding their ranch, turning it into a thriving homestead. But after his sudden passing, those dreams faded like the evening light. Clara fought to keep the ranch running, yet every creak of the old house reminded her of what she had lost. Clara's neighbors whispered about her struggles. Some offered help, while others speculated about how long she could manage alone. Despite their kindness, Clara often felt isolated in her grief. She would sit on the porch in the evenings, gazing at the horizon, wishing for companionship and support. Recognizing her need for assistance, Clara decided to hire a homesteader to guard her property. She hoped he could help with chores and provide some much-needed company. As she prepared for his arrival, she was filled with both hope and apprehension. Would he understand her loss? Could he respect the memories that lingered in every corner of her home? Little did she know that this decision would lead to uncovering much more than just hard work. It would unearth secrets buried deep within the land itself. Secrets tied forever to Tom's name. The sun was just starting to rise when Clara heard the sound of hooves approaching. She stepped out onto her porch, excitement and nervousness bubbling within her. This was the day the homesteader, Jake, would arrive. She had spoken with him only briefly over the phone, but his voice had been warm and reassuring, giving her hope that he might be a good fit for the ranch. When Jake finally appeared, he looked every bit the rugged homesteader she had envisioned. With broad shoulders and a friendly smile, he carried himself with a confidence that put Clara at ease. He dismounted his horse and extended his hand, introducing himself with a firm grip. "It's good to meet you, Clara," he said, his blue eyes sparkling with sincerity. Clara showed Jake around the ranch, pointing out the various tasks that needed to be done, from mending fences to caring for the animals. As they walked, she noticed how attentively he listened and how easily he adapted to her way of life. The connection between them began to grow as they shared stories about their lives. Clara spoke of her beloved husband and the dreams they once shared, while Jake recounted tales of his own struggles on different farms. As days turned into weeks, Jake settled into his role, proving to be hardworking and dependable. Clara found solace in his presence. He brought laughter back into her home and helped ease the burdens of ranch life. Yet beneath that cheerful exterior, Jake felt a sense of unease as he sensed there was more to Clara's story than met the eye. A deep sadness hidden beneath the surface that seemed tied to Tom's memory. Little did he know how deeply intertwined their fates would soon become. As the days passed, Jake quickly adapted to life on the ranch, embracing the rhythm of early mornings and long hours under the sun. Together, he and Clara formed a routine that blended work and companionship. They would rise at dawn, the air crisp and fresh as they walked to the barn. Jake tended to the animals, feeding the chickens, milking the cows, and checking on the horses, while Clara managed the gardens that had once flourished under Tom's care. During breaks, they shared lunches on the porch, laughing over sandwiches and sweet tea. Clara often found herself smiling more than she had in a long time, enjoying Jake's stories about his travels and past misadventures on different farms. His humor was infectious, lifting her spirits even on the hardest days. But beneath the laughter, Clara still felt a lingering sorrow. While Jake worked tirelessly alongside her, she couldn't help but remember moments shared with Tom. She often gazed out at the fields where they had once planted crops together, wishing she could turn back time. Jake sensed this unspoken sadness and tried to bring light into her life through simple gestures. A bouquet of wildflowers picked during his rounds or a friendly joke meant to ease her heart. As time went on, they began to communicate without words. A glance or a shared smile spoke volumes. Clara appreciated Jake's quiet understanding and support. He never pushed her to share more than she was ready to reveal. Each passing day deepened their bond, yet Clara knew that secrets still lingered beneath the surface of their growing friendship. waiting for the right moment to be uncovered. As the weeks unfolded, strange occurrences began to disrupt the peaceful rhythm of the ranch. Jake noticed it first one evening when he heard unusual noises coming from the barn. It was a low rustling, almost as if something or someone was stirring in the shadows. He brushed it off at first, thinking it was just a stray animal searching for shelter, but his unease lingered. The next day, Clara mentioned that she had seen fleeting figures at dusk near the fence line, but when she looked closer, there was nothing there. She tried to make light of it, dismissing her own stories as the result of an overactive imagination fueled by loneliness. However, Jake felt a chill creeping in, sensing that something was amiss on the ranch. One night, while they were sharing dinner, a sudden gust of wind rattled the windows and extinguished their lanterns, plunging them into darkness. Clara gasped, and a moment of silence fell between them before Jake jumped up to light a candle. As he lit it, he caught sight of Clara's face. Her expression was distant and troubled. He could tell this wasn't just about the storm. Jake asked her what was wrong, but she hesitated, glancing toward the window as if expecting to see something lurking in the shadows. That evening marked a shift in their relationship. Clara's guarded heart seemed to widen just a fraction as she finally acknowledged that their home held secrets, dark memories intertwined with her late husband's past. Jake vowed to uncover whatever was haunting Clara's thoughts, both for her sake and to find peace on the ranch once and for all. The lingering mystery grew more potent with each passing day, drawing them closer while threatening to unravel everything they had begun to build together. One crisp morning, Jake set out early to check the western fence line after Clara mentioned some missing posts. As he walked through the dew-kissed grass, he felt a sense of purpose. The air was still, but something in the atmosphere felt heavy, almost foreboding. While inspecting the area, he stumbled upon a small clearing hidden by overgrown weeds. Curiosity piqued. He pushed aside the tangled foliage and gasped at what lay before him. A freshly dug grave. The earth was dark and loose, as if it had been disturbed recently. Heart racing, Jake knelt down to examine the area more closely and noticed a simple wooden marker jutting out from the ground. To his shock, it bore Tom's name. Conflicted emotions surged within him. Anger, confusion, and concern for Clara overwhelmed him. Why was there a grave here? What had happened that had led to this secret resting place? He quickly stood up and made his way back to the house, each step heavier than the last. He needed to confront Clara about what he had found. When he arrived home, Clara was tending to her garden under the warm sun. The brightness around her seemed a stark contrast to the weight in Jake's heart. Taking a deep breath, he gathered his courage and approached her. "Clara," he began softly, "we need to talk about something I found." The color drained from Clara's face as she turned to face him. In that moment, Jake realized that whatever secrets lay buried beneath the surface of their lives would soon come to light, forever changing their relationship and revealing truths they both feared confronting. Jake stood before Clara, his heart pounding as he prepared to reveal what he had discovered. "Clara," he said, his voice steady but filled with urgency, "I found something by the western fence." He watched her expression shift from curiosity to a deepening fear as he continued. "It's a grave marked with Tom's name." Clara's face paled, and she took a step back, her hands trembling. "A grave?" she echoed, disbelief washing over her. "What do you mean?" Jake took a breath, trying to keep his own emotions in check. "It looks fresh, like it was dug recently. I don't understand why it's there or why you didn't tell me about it." Tears welled in Clara's eyes as she struggled to find the words. "I thought I could forget," she finally admitted in a whisper. "I buried my memories with him, and now they've come back." "Why would you bury him here?" Jake pressed gently. "Didn't you have a proper funeral?" Clara sank onto a nearby bench, covering her face with her hands. "It's complicated," she managed through muffled sobs. "Tom was involved in things I never told you about, things that put our lives at risk." Jake knelt beside her, determined to help but unsure of how to navigate this new territory. "You're safe now, Clara. Whatever happened, we can face it together," he promised. Clara looked up at him through tear-streaked cheeks. "No one can know what happened here," she said urgently. "If those secrets come out." Jake nodded firmly, understanding the weight of her words. Together they would have to uncover the truth not just about Tom's past but about their own futures. A journey that could either heal them or tear them apart completely. Clara felt as though the ground had been pulled from beneath her. The moment Jake mentioned the grave, every breath became a struggle. She had spent countless nights burying her painful memories of Tom, and now that grave was a stark reminder that the past refused to stay buried. With trembling hands, she looked into Jake's concerned eyes, feeling vulnerable yet desperate for understanding. "I didn't want you to find out this way," she murmured. "I thought I could protect you. Protect us from the darkness of my past." Jake knelt closer, his expression softening as he watched the tears spill down her cheeks. "Clara, you don't have to shield me from this. I want to know the truth." His voice was firm but gentle, encouraging her to open up. Realizing there was no way forward without confronting her fears, Clara took a deep breath, steadying herself. Tom wasn't just a farmer. He got mixed up with some dangerous people. I tried to help him leave that life behind, but it all caught up to us in ways I never expected. She paused, glancing back at the grave, the very embodiment of their hidden past. This grave, it's not just Tom's. It's a symbol of everything we lost. Jake's heart ached for her. He reached for her hand, interlacing his fingers with hers as a promise of support. "We'll figure this out together," he said firmly. Clara felt the warmth of his grip, and for the first time in many months, hope flickered within her. They were on the brink of challenging her husband's legacy together, ready to confront the shadows cast by Tom's choices. Together they would unearth the truth, no matter how painful it might be. Clara and Jake spent the next few days in a silence that felt heavy with unspoken truths. The atmosphere around the ranch shifted as they wrestled with the reality of Tom's past. Jake knew that there were answers hidden within the shadows, and Clara needed to confront these secrets for her own peace, perhaps even for their future together. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sun dip below the horizon, Clara finally spoke. "If we're going to find out the truth about Tom, we might need to dig deeper into where he was involved," she whispered, fear threading through her voice. Jake nodded. "We should start by asking around town. There might be people who knew him well enough to reveal more." Uncertainty danced in Clara's eyes, but she agreed, knowing it was time to face the ghosts of her past. The following afternoon, they drove into town, where familiarity wove through memories of happier times with Tom. Beginning with Martha, an old friend of Tom's who owned a small cafe, Clara hesitated outside before stepping in. The bell above the door jingled softly as they entered. Martha recognized Clara immediately and rushed over, concern etched across her face. "Clara, I've been worried about you," she said warmly, but quickly noticed Jake beside her. The air thickened with unspoken questions as Clara introduced him. With careful words, Jake guided the conversation toward Tom's past, hinting at his dangerous dealings. Martha's expression changed, revealing a mix of worry and intrigue. "There's much more to Tom than you might know," she replied cautiously. In that moment, Clara felt dread creep into her heart. Each new revelation risked unearthing more than just memories. It threatened to expose everything she had tried to protect. Clara felt a growing tension in the cafe as she exchanged anxious glances with Jake. Martha's cryptic words echoed in her mind. "There's much more to Tom than you might know." Clara's heart raced as she anxiously awaited the truth about her husband's life and what it could mean for her future. After a few moments of hesitant silence, Clara finally broke free from her paralysis. "Martha, please tell us what you know," she implored. Jake remained close behind her, giving his silent support as she summoned her courage. Martha looked around cautiously before leaning in closer. "Tom was involved with some people who weren't good news," she whispered. "He tried to distance himself from them after you two married, but I always worried. Some debts aren't easily erased." Her gaze softened as she met Clara's eyes, seeing the pain etched on her face. "What kind of debts?" Jake interjected, concern rising in his voice. "There were threats, the kind that could put you in danger if they felt cornered," Martha replied, hesitating before continuing. "People in this town forget too easily that some pasts can't just be buried." Clara felt each word weigh heavy like a stone in her chest. She had wanted to protect herself, and now it appeared the very thing she feared was still alive. "Did he ever say anything?" she asked, desperate for clarity. Martha shook her head slowly. "Not directly, but I think he was trying to shield you from it. He loved you too much to let that shadow creep into your lives." With each revelation, Clara found herself at a crossroads. Should she face the past head-on or try to push it away once more? Determined to confront the truth alongside Jake, she turned to him with newfound resolve. "Whatever comes next, we face it together," she declared softly but firmly, ready to step into whatever darkness lay ahead. In the days that followed their conversation with Martha, Clara and Jake worked side by side, both physically and emotionally preparing for what lay ahead. The tension around the ranch shifted from unease to a newfound resolve as they agreed to confront the challenges Tom's past had left behind. They spent evenings reviewing old documents that Clara had kept, searching for clues about Tom's dealings and debts. One afternoon, while sorting through boxes in the attic, Clara discovered a tattered journal belonging to Tom. Filled with his handwriting, it recounted his struggles to escape the life that had ensnared him, revealing a man torn between love for Clara and the shadow of his choices. As she read aloud passages filled with regret and hope, Jake listened intently, feeling more connected to Tom than ever before. "That's the man I fell in love with," Clara said softly after reading a particularly poignant entry. "He wanted so much to protect me, but he never realized how dangerous his past could be for both of us." Jake gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "His story doesn't have to end in darkness. You can shape your own future now, and we can do it together." This realization sparked something new within Clara, a sense of empowerment she hadn't felt in years. They devised a plan to confront those who might still be a threat and to pay off any lingering debts, determined to reclaim the life Tom had once envisioned for them. As they took steps toward resolution, Clara felt a weight lifting from her heart. Together, they were not just facing the shadows of the past. They were crafting new beginnings grounded in trust, courage, and shared dreams. In that moment, she understood that love could be a guiding light, illuminating paths that had long been shrouded in darkness. As Clara stood on the porch, watching the sun dip below the horizon, she felt a profound sense of transformation within herself. The ranch, once a place filled with memories of loss and regret, was starting to become a symbol of hope. Jake's unwavering support had ignited something in her, a strength she thought had vanished when she lost Tom. Reflecting on the journey they had traveled together, Clara realized how much her perspective on life had changed. The shadows of her past no longer loomed as menacing figures. Instead, they were reminders of the lessons learned. Tom's journal had opened a window to understanding his struggles and, in turn, illuminated her own path forward. She learned that love could be complex, intertwining joy with sorrow, but also offering resilience in the face of adversity. Clara considered what it meant to cherish the memories of those who have passed while still embracing new beginnings. Each moment spent with Jake affirmed that it was possible to carry the essence of Tom within her heart while building a future filled with promise. The echoes of their shared laughter and challenges transformed into foundations for a brighter life. As the night embraced the ranch in soft darkness, Clara felt a rush of gratitude towards Jake. He hadn't just helped her navigate the dangers left behind by Tom. He had also guided her towards self-discovery and healing. "We're writing our own story now," she thought, glancing at Jake, who was lost in his own thoughts. In that quiet moment, Clara acknowledged that life is a tapestry woven from threads of love and loss, pain and joy. With every sunrise, she was ready to embrace the next chapter, one filled with hope, resilience, and a renewed spirit. Together with Jake, Clara would face whatever came next, determined to honor the past while stepping boldly into the future.